Assalamu alaikum and hello again. Now we are talking about the lesson 6.5 modeling applications. It's in your textbook at page 102.
Computer modeling involves using a computer to predict what would happen in a given situation. There are many different programs that can be used for computer modeling, as there are many situations in which this technique might be used. You might want to answer the question, what would happen to traffic flow if the lights on a particular junction stayed green for 5 more seconds? You might have to predict the result for a company of its suppliers increasing their prices by 5%. You might just wonder how much sooner you could save up for a car with an extra £20 a month. In all of these situations, a computer can model the likely outcome without you having to do anything besides use a computer.
Computer modeling is used extensively when dealing with financial information. Companies use it, governments use it, and even individuals use it. In each of these situations, spreadsheet software is likely to be the tool that's used. The spreadsheet will contain details of all money coming in and going out. For individuals, this will include wages and bills. For companies, this would include costs and sales forecasts. For governments, it would be tax revenue as well as expenses such as health and education.
Typically, the larger the organization, the more detailed a spreadsheet would need to be. The person performing the modeling can then perform a what-if analysis. This involves changing numbers and observing the outcomes. What if I lose my job? What if the income tax rate changes? What if demand for our product goes down? This allows individuals, companies, and governments to prepare for different scenarios.
Another example of computer modeling involves predicting what would happen in the physical world. This is called simulation modeling, and it is used in developing products. An aerospace engineer might want to see the effect of extreme turbulence on a new plane. An automotive company might wish to explore the impact of a high-speed collision on a car with a new safety system. These applications are usually more complex than can be addressed using a spreadsheet. Instead, bespoke, custom-made software uses advanced mathematics and experience of real-world situations to make predictions.
The advantages of such an approach are clear. You could see the effect of a tornado on 500 different designs of plane without ever having to put expensive aircraft or valuable lives at risk. The same applies to cars. Different designs can be involved in collisions at different speeds and from different angles, with no risk to life or to an actual car.
But computer modeling has its limitations too. No computer program, however accurate, can predict everything, as the real world is more complex than a program can account for. Also, any flaws in the program might generate incorrect outputs, and it's difficult to test the accuracy of these programs. This is why, after modeling has taken place, real cars and real planes need to be subjected to real stress tests. Not only does this form part of the testing process, but any observations can then be used to make the simulation software even more reliable.
And now, in our books, we can find modeling applications. It's in page 102. A computer model is the creation of a model of a real system in order to study the behavior of the system. The model is a computer generated and is based on mathematical representations. The whole idea is to try to find out what mechanisms control how a system behaves. This then makes it possible to predict the behavior of the system in the future and also see if it is possible to influence this future behavior. Computer models have advantages. One of these advantages is to save money. It can help find solution more quickly and it can be considerably safer. It will be more safe. There are many examples of model applications, computer models which can range from simple spreadsheet representation through to the complex flight simulators. Now, modeling applications, you can summarize it in this. mathematical computer model is created to manipulate variables and see real-time changes in terms of figures, used to find how mechanisms control system. Now, why are computer models done in general? These are the advantages that we have read before. They are less expensive than having to build the real thing, like a bridge or a building or a tower. On many occasions, it is safer to run the computer model in the hazard situations, in chemical processes, to make some tornado, and so on. With computer models, it is much easier to try out various scenarios in advance. You just change the numbers and you can find what's the result. It is nearly impossible to try out some tasks in real life because of high risk involved or remoteness. Like what? Outer space, under the sea, nuclear reactions, crashing testings of the cars or airplanes, whatever. Once we are talking about impossible situation, we are talking about life risks. Now, time scales are reduced by doing computer model rather than the real thing. In some applications, it would take years before a result was known, like climate changes calculation, population growth, and so on. Now, advantages, you can just summarize it like this: cheaper than building physical system to test, safer than building system and experimenting, easier to experiment with various scenarios, quicker as no need to build the system, near impossible tests involving space and volcanic scenarios can be modeled with risk-free. Now, when we are making a computer model, we have to consider the following: what and how data should be collected, working of the system in the real life. Now, this is an example of a spreadsheet. It is talking about a tuck shop in a school. Now, this is the spreadsheet to have a look on the item name, price for each of these items, selling price, the profit of each one of these items, number sold by this day or this week, and the total profit in this item, and also the profit or the loss for all. Now the formula behind this, it should be like this. Now by varying the values in the column C or E, it would be possible to model the shop profit or loss. Now let's make it as practical example. Now this is my own sheet. I have the items, the cost for each one, the selling price, the profit, number sold, and total profit. Now the chocolate is costing me as £1 and I am selling it in 1.2. Now if I want to increase this profit, I will not work on the profit, because if you see, profit is just a mathematical formula, and also the total profit. If I want to work on increasing or decreasing the profit, I have to work it here. In the selling price, I can increase my profit by 1.4 to B and find out that the total profit for the chocolate for each item is 0.4, and if I sold 50, I will gain £20 profit. Now if I want to increase my profit but without increasing the profit value, I want it to stay as it 1.2, but I need to duplicate my total profit, I will duplicate my selling. So I have to make some promotions or to make some more effort just to make this total profit. Now by this, I can find out also that the totals are increasing here by how much the totals are done. So this is my model of tuck shop. After this, we can find another one which is talking about the case, the what if analysis. It can be conducted that allow a certain figure to be computed by letting the computer change other variables that affect the value needed to be set. Now, I have here this piece of the Excel sheet. Profit from sales is 10,000. Now the running costs, it's empty now, and my net profit is equaling the B1, the profit from the sales, minus my costs. Now, if we make the goal seek as the following, I need to get net profit 10,000 and my profit from sales is 10,000, it means that the running cost should be 0. But if I enter now the 5,000 here, it should be as the net profit to be 5,000. If I want to work on this one, just I have to make my net profit as my goal seek in B3, how much I want this profit, and my computer will answer me about how much I should expend on this costs. Now, traffic light simulation. This is another way of simulation. It's not in a spreadsheet, it's talking about the real life. A set of traffic lights should be modeled in Y conjunction here. It could be in any one, it could be squared and so on as in real life. In this computer model, it is necessary to consider 1. How and what data needs to be collected. 2. How the computer model is carried out. And 3. How the system would work in real life. Now, these are the 3 considerations about how to work with your simulation or modeling. Now, let's find out some example or demo about the traffic light simulation. We can find it here. First of all, it will be quiet and silent, just it is showing us the traffic. This is a square, not Y conjunction. It is showing that everything is clear. Now it is working. A car is coming here. It's red light. Now the timing now here. Till now, no problems happening, just I have a few cars, it is not crowded, and all the traffic lights are working in synchronizing. We have no problem. Also, the people are walking in safe. We have no problems. They can watch which way is the most crowded also. Till now we have nothing. The traffic light is working in a clear way. We have no problem. Now we have some crowded traffic. They forgot to make it as green light. Now it's working. Maybe some now, some accident. Now we have some problems here, so it is not a successful model. And here you will find some example of ambulance or some emergency. We have to turn the traffic and an accident will happen of this misorder. So an accident happened here. So this model will not work, so they have to work on another thing. As you saw that model, the previous model is not working in a good way, so they have to change their scenario. Now, how and what data needs to be collected? I can tell that the sort of data that would need to be collected or considered for collection is the following: count of the number of vehicles passing the conjunction in all directions at all different times of the day of the work as weekday, bank holidays, and so on. We have to think about them. How long it takes a vehicle to clear the junction, it's according to the road speed. And also how long it takes the slowest vehicle to pass through the junction, whether there are any pedestrian crossing nearby, and whether there are other factors might affect the junction, like left turns, right turns, or filtering. How is the computer model is carried out? Data is entered to the computer model and it is running. Once the designer or the designers are satisfied that it is the model with the real situation is working accurately, then they will work on it and accept it. But some different scenarios can be carried out just to find the best scenario. Now, for example, vary the timing of the lights and see how the traffic flows was affected. Increase the number of vehicles stopped at part of the junction, and then change the timing of the lights to see how traffic flow is affected. Increase or decrease traffic flow in all directions. Consider how emergency vehicles affect traffic flow at different times of the day. So, as we saw, all of these considerations were considered in the clip that we have saw. Now, how would the system work in real life? Sensors in the road gather data and count the number of vehicles at junction. This data is sent to control box or computer. It may need to be converted first into the form of the digital as using ADC. The gathered data is compared to data stored in the system, which is like preset values. Now the control box or computer decides what action needs to be taken. Signals are sent out to the traffic lights to change their timing if necessary. Now, other examples of computer models include population growth, modeling queues at checkouts, training pilots and drivers, running chemical and nuclear plants, crash testing of cars, financial modeling, and weather prediction. Now, weather predictions is the last one. Finally, we can find the exercise 6G at our books at page 104. It's talking about to match between the model and the reason why it is used in computer modeling. Now think about it, solve it, and send it to me as homework. It is your assignment for today.